The average American is eating half of the fruits and vegetables that are recommended, says Beth Dawson Hughes, a senior scientist at the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Human Nutrition Research Center on Aging, and professor of medicine at Tufts University. So if you are leaning in that direction, then you are probably missing out on some essential nutrients.普通美国人摄入的水果和蔬菜量仅为推荐量的一半。美国农业部人类衰老研究中心的资深科学家塔夫茨大学医学教授贝斯道森休斯说，所以如果你也是这种情况，那么你可能正缺乏一些必须的营养素。Average. The average American. Recommended. That are recommended. Senior. Senior scientist. Department. U.S. Department of Agriculture. Agriculture. Nutrition. Nutrition, Human Nutrition Research. Research Center. Aging. Professor, Medicine. Leaning. Direction. In that direction. Missing out on. Nutrients. Could multivitamins help fill this nutritional gap? The answer, as you might expect, is complicated. The theory that dosing up on vitamin C could help stave off the common cold spread across the Western world in the 1970s, thanks to people like Linus Pauling, a Nobel Prize-winning chemist who claimed that taking up to 50 times the recommended dose of vitamin C could treat anything from influenza to cardiovascular diseases, cataracts, and even cancer. Although the notion that overdosing on vitamin C could cure the cold has been thoroughly debunked, many still cling to this belief. 复合维生素能帮助填补这种营养缺口吗？正如你可能预料的那样，答案是复杂的。20世纪70年代，大量服用维生素 C 有助于预防普通感冒，这一理论在西方世界广泛传播，这要归功于莱纳斯·鲍林等人。鲍林是一位诺贝尔奖获奖化学家， 他声称服用高达推荐剂量50倍的维生素 C 可以治疗从流感、心血管疾病、白内障到癌症的各种疾病。尽管过量服用维生素 C 可以治愈感冒这一说法已被彻底推翻，但许多人仍然坚信这一点。multivitamins nutritional gap dosing up on stave off the common cold spread. Nobel Prize winning chemist claimed those influenza cardiovascular diseases cataracts, notion, overdosing, thoroughly debunk it, clean to. Fast forward to today, and influencers are pushing supplements that contain up to 500% or even 1000% the recommended daily allowance of micronutrients, despite the fact that vitamin supplements in general lack regulation, contain unlisted ingredients, and are not backed up by randomized controlled trials, the golden standard of medical research. 快进到今天，有影响力的人正在推广一些补充剂，其中含有的微量营养素高达每日推荐摄入量的500%，甚至1000%。尽管事实上维生素补充剂总体上缺乏监管，含有未列明的成分，且没有随机对照试验医学研究的黄金标准作为支持。Influencers are pushing supplements. Pushing supplements. Allowance. Recommended daily allowance. Despite. Regulation. Unlisted ingredients. Backed up by. Randomized controlled trials. Randomized controlled trials. Gold standard. Macdosing on vitamins and minerals can be dangerous. For instance, there have been instances of people being taken to hospital from taking dangerously high levels of vitamin D. Consuming too much vitamin D can cause mild symptoms such as thirst and needing to urinate more frequently, but in serious cases it can cause seizures, coma, and death. 大剂量服用维生素和矿物质可能是危险的，例如有人因服用危险的高剂量维生素 D 而被送进医院。摄入过多的维生素 D 会导致轻微症状，如口渴和尿频，但在严重情况下可能会导致癫痫发作、昏迷甚至死亡。Macdosing instances consuming mild symptoms, thirst, urinate frequently, severe seizures, coma. Meanwhile, according to the National Institute of Health in the US, excess vitamin A can cause severe headache, blurred vision, nausea, dizziness, muscle aches, and problems with coordination. In severe cases, getting too much performed vitamin A can even lead to coma or death. 同时，根据美国国立卫生研究院的说法，过量的维生素 A 会导致剧烈头痛、视力模糊、恶心、头晕、肌肉疼痛以及协调问题。在严重情况下，摄入过多预先形成的维生素 A 甚至可能会导致昏迷和死亡。National Institutes of Health. Excess vitamin A. Severe headache. Blurred vision. Nausea, dizziness, muscle aches, coordination, performed. The clinical trials that have been done on vitamins and minerals sometimes have contradictory results and suggest that whether you will benefit from taking vitamin supplements depends on who you are as well as the exact micronutrient that supplement contains. 针对维生素和矿物质所做的临床试验有时会得出相互矛盾的结果，这表明你是否会从服用维生素补充剂中受益，取决于你是谁以及补充剂中含有的具体微量营养素。Clinical trials. Contradictory. Depends on exact The clinical trials done on vitamins and minerals. Some of the earliest trials focused on antioxidants, molecules that neutralize harmful chemicals known as free radicals. Free radicals are unstable molecules that react with and rip apart cells and DNA. It might seem to make sense that boosting your intake of antioxidants would help stave off illness, yet studies have constantly shown this is not the case. For example, double-blind, placebo-controlled trials led by Joanne Manson, a professor of epidemiology at the Harvard School of Public Health, found that the antioxidants beta-carotene, vitamin C, and vitamin E had no effect on preventing cancer or cardiovascular disease. 针对维生素和矿物质的临床试验，一些最早的试验聚焦于抗氧化剂，即能中和被称为自由基的有害化学物质的分子。自由基是不稳定的分子，会与细胞和 DNA 发生反应并将其撕裂。增加抗氧化剂的摄入量似乎有助于预防疾病，但研究却一致表明事实并非如此。例如，由哈佛大学公共卫生学院流行病学教授乔安·曼森领导的双盲安慰剂对照试验发现，抗氧化剂贝塔胡萝卜素、维生素 C 和维生素 E 在预防癌症和心血管疾病方面没有效果。Focused on antioxidants. Molecules neutralize harmful chemicals, free radicals, unstable, react, rip apart, cells, DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, DNA, boosting intake consistently, double-blind, placebo-controlled trials. Epidemiology Harvard beta carotene preventing. In fact, some studies suggest that megadosing on antioxidants can actually harm health. For example, the evidence is mounting from randomized clinical trials that taking large quantities of beta-carotene supplements can increase your risk of lung cancer, especially if you are a smoker. Meanwhile, a trial by Manson showed that megadosing of vitamin E is linked to an increased risk of hemorrhagic stroke. 事实上，一些研究表明，大剂量服用抗氧化剂实际上可能危害健康。例如，随机临床试验越来越多的证据表明，服用大剂量贝塔胡萝卜素补充剂会增加患肺癌的风险，尤其是如果你是吸烟者的话。同时，曼森的一项试验表明，大剂量服用维生素 E 与出血性中风风险增加有关。Mounting. The evidence is mounting from quantities, large quantities, lung, smoker, linked to hemorrhagic, stroke.